So, okay, let's just start here. I'm going to keep you. I say I'm going to keep it short. But I'm going to do my best, man. I'm going to do my best. So, Google AI Studio, like, why have you completely blown my whole mind? I had to spend, like, I swear I spent the whole rest of the day because you and I talked on Saturday. So, yeah, a good chunk of Saturday going into and some of Sunday, really diving into Google Studio or AI Studio. I have not even checked Firebase yet. Like, I just man, when I tell you, I was like, hold on, let me go learn how to, use this thing. Freaking amazing. Okay. So, anyway, I wanted to talk to you about the YouTube video, those 9 use cases for Perplexity. What I ended up doing, let me come over here. I'm going to do this real quick because I want to take it deeper. So, I ended up dragging the video I uploaded a bunch of stuff about me. Let me start here. I thought I'd use Gemini. I uploaded a bunch of stuff about me, my target market, et cetera, et cetera. My Astro profile, and I gave it a prompt. You're now my Astro human design business consultant with over 25 years experience. Before you do anything, please review my attached documents. Keeping in mind my Mars is not the second house, and I do that because my Mars is like Scorpio at 10 degrees, but my third house starts at like Scorpio 11 degrees. So every platform I've used, it always wants to throw Mars in my third house, but it is not. So anyway, I just gave it that. It was like, all right, cool. I got you. I uploaded some more stuff about, some landing page copy, some stuff that I'm working on. It had an error. Okay, no problem. And I said, can you see all my attached documents? And then it gave me a good breakdown. So I'm like, okay, it knows what I'm doing. It knows what my offers are. It knows what my basically my sales funnel looks like. And I said, I'd like to create a long, detailed prompt based off this video. And I just gave it the link to the video because that was one of the things you mentioned doing. And I was like, oh, that'd be a lot easier than trying to copy his prompts. And I said, specifically, I want to focus on use cases. Use case 1 for, I thought I said 1, 2, but 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, whatever. Okay, please take the time to please take into detailed consideration my astrology and human design, as well as reaching my niche market. And then I was like, okay, what can I do let's just pretend I'm starting from scratch and I have this big lofty goal. I just want to see, you know what I'm saying? And I said, also note this. So I told it, cold audience with a goal of 600,000 for 2026. And I said, ask me 5 clarifying questions before generating this detailed prompt with app, because I wanted an app too, like the guy had in the video. It looked cool. So it asked me 5 detailed questions, platform clarification, do you want Perplexity Labs or, Claude, GPT, Hormozy versus luxury paradox, because my business isn't really a Hormozy style scaling, which I believe was this one here, right? Alex Hormozy style. So I was like, yeah, no, let's not go that route. Let's go more this luxury paradox side. Manifestor workflow, that's part of my human design. So it asked, how do you want to work around that? And then the 600,000 K math. And then it was like, hey, to hit this from a cold start, we're prioritizing the volume of leads, blah, 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 blah. So I gave it my responses. And then it said, this is a pivotal decision since your goal is 600K cold audience. Whale hunting. I love it. That's what it called it. Like for the big money clients, selling high ticket bespoke offers, like blah, 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 blah. Okay. Right. And I did make a really long video of my process. I'm going to try and upload it to YouTube later. It was really long, like really long. So if you are interested in it or want to skim through it, but I just recorded everything step by step. I figured later on I'll probably chop it down a little bit. Okay. So then I was like, so it talks about, here's the flow, cold content, the lure, the CTA, the access to the Velvet Lounge, the initiation, the ascension, which I love seeing this because this, if you remember from browsers to buyers, we talked about the customer awareness stages. Okay. And then option B, the Velvet, it asked me some more things, right? My recommendations. And so I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do the hybrid. No biggie. And basically that was in reference to what made the most sense while like how I want to approach my audience to reach this goal. And it was like, do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be a little bit more laid back? Or do you want to do a hybrid approach? I was like, yeah, I like the hybrid. it was like, okay, here's your, and I love it. It called it a God mode prompt. I was like, that's my favorite name ever. God mode prompt. This is designed to be copy and pasted directly into Perplexity Labs, recommended for research competitor data, or Google AI Studio, recommended for strategy creative writing. This is engineered to force the AI to think like a luxury strategist who understands, me at my core and the psychology of my target market. And then it gave me the instructions, copy from act as, paste into AI, attach your files. That's where I messed up on Google AI Studio or AI. Yeah, Google AI Studio. I forgot to attach files, but it still came out really solid. So anyway, it gave this big long God mode prompt. So I started with the act as, and it's a pretty, because I put all of those use cases into one. So use case 4, use case 7, use case 8. All right. And then I asked it, like, where should I put this? Like this particular, in Google AI Studio, or where? Oh, I wasn't sure where exactly to put it in AI Studio. That's what it was. And it was like, hey, go here and do this, blah, 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 blah. And then it was telling me up here to use 1.3. I'm like, or should I just use Gemini Pro? And it's like, yeah, you should use Gemini 3 Pro, excuse me. Okay, so that's where I left off. So I took it over to Perplexity. Okay. And then here's where I have the prompt, where I have the act as, and it's got use case 1, 2, 4, 7, and 8. So it's a really long, detailed prompt. And it gave me this Velvet Command Center. And it's, it's pretty like a broad overview. And next steps to use the dashboard. Next step, what to do tomorrow. The dashboard is your strategic backbone. Print it, study it, execute from it. Every number here is built on your 6.2 manifestor design and his 1.3 alpha psychology. So basically, who I am and who he is. The ruthless economics of high ticket whale hunting. You don't need more control. You need precision. You need precision execution. You now have it. So you ready? Boom. So this is the layout it gave me. So it's got use case 1 where it talks about 600K. Basically, I would need like 12,000 leads. But it has a really detailed breakdown, which again, I went through in that other video. So my upload speed is always so slow. So I'm going to try and render that at a lower, try and render it so that it doesn't, take 9 hours to upload. But an average applicants of 6,000, basically like it just took basic numbers to like generate this to 72 leads. And then it broke everything down, like here are the funnel metrics, cold leads, 12,000. Yeah, applications submitted, 600. Applications approved, 240. Sales conversations booked, 72. And then it's like, listen, you only need to close 30 deals in a year to hit where that's at, which in the grand scheme of life is not terrible. And then it talked about like the offer stack breakdown and bottlenecks. These would be like my personal bottlenecks. Things like energy crash, because I do have that when I do a lot of big work, like I crash after. And sometimes that crash, because it's not just energetic work, but physical work even sometimes too. Like I may just be on chill mode for the next week or two. So it talked about like, it created a cycle around that, which I thought was so cool. But that's very typical of my energy type. So it's not like, don't worry, there's no health concerns or anything like that. Thankfully. Bottleneck 2, decision fatigue. When I tell you, I was like, don't act like you know me. And so what it gave me was it said, institute a 48-hour launch rule. Because once the offer hits, or once the offer is 80% complete, stop refining it and launch it. Trust your gut, delegate perfectionism. Because this is absolutely a massive bottleneck for me. Like, man, I will tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak like that Virgo, Scorpio, but that Virgo, man, it's so for real. Like, I mean, I think you're in the sense of you get it. You want it to look nice. You want it to function well. Like, you know what you want, right? And so, but for me, sometimes it creates massive bottlenecks in actually launching, which if you're not launching, you're not selling, right? And then bottleneck 3, team dependency. And for me, there's some, some space where like some things it's like you should delegate this, but what it did was it gave me some ways to later on that I can automate some of these things as opposed to hiring them out to other people. Then it gave me a really clear funnel strategy. Where I messed up on this one, what I would do next time is, because I am going to tweak this in the future, by the way, is I would have it use my brand colors. So it used these, which is fine, we're just experimenting here, but it went into the funnel strategy and 3 Trojan horse angles, contrarian hooks, that I can use as a part of my funnel strategy, or like to get people into my funnel. And I think this would be a great thing to download and like put into a custom GPT or put into a Perplexity space, or even just upload into a chat if it's helping me create content. Like it understands, like these are like some of the 3 main pain points that I hit. And again, because I gave it so much information about my target market, it's hitting some big ones. So I was like, oh, it's so juicy. It's so good. And then it gave me a 3-step outreach script for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because when I was originally creating the prompt, I did tell it, I do want to use Sales Navigator. And so it gave me an outreach script. It said, invite, don't pitch, secret society vibes, no sales language. And so it, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And I was like, okay, easy enough. And it's got a basic script that I want to use something. I'm thinking like using something like make.com for some of these things, and using the Comet AI browser to do some of the prospecting for me. But it's got examples of scripts that I can use for reaching out to people, which I love that, because it takes the guesswork out of it. And then it said you can use like I can use Dripify for automation. Probably not going to use Dripify. Don't love it. But we'll come back to that another day. And then it gave the application filter 3 psychological questions. And this was, again, because I'm going after a really key audience and I need to hit those high-end people like in the shortest amount of time. Then what it was like is here, basically here's some good filters, because we're not going for, I'm not trying to go viral. You know what I'm saying? We're not going for quantity. We're going for quality. And so here's how to filter out a lot of those people. And then the secret filter logic. Question 1, Question 1 screens wealth. Question 2 screens pain alignment. Question 3 screens psychological readiness. Any answer below threshold equals auto reject email. Thanks for applying. You're not quite a fit yet. I recommend whatever the alternative is. All the best. Blah blah. So what I'll use is a web form from my CRM, and I'll let it automatically score. So depending on how they answer these questions, they'll get approved to get access to, and we're talking about even access to the lead magnet or not, because again, for my particular business, it's like creating this really exclusive aura of like for these people only, right? And then use case 4, brand pillars, the Scorpio stare. And of course, it took all of that out of my my astrology. And then these repel the weak, they attract the powerful, they are uncompromising. Pillar 1, pleasure as strategy, not sin, which for me is spot on with what I preach. Pillar 2, embodiment over information. And pillar 3, privacy is power. Because one of the things, and this was really powerful, that I got from Notebook LM about a month and a half or so ago, was like to build privacy into the architecture of my offers. So I've been doing that, and it definitely is super in alignment with my niche market, versus just saying for my particular niche, like, oh yeah, and your stuff is, check our privacy policy, everything's confidential, like building that everything's confidential and private into the architecture of the offer. And then it talked about visual vibe, directive, aesthetic, authority. And this is where these colors here, the gold, the deep crimson, the teal sapphire, and the black charcoal, and it talked about why wealth, for the gold, the sensuality and danger, the blood, vitality. These aren't my brand colors. They're actually fairly close. But so I'll take a different, I'll next time specify my brand colors. But I get what it did and I like that it did that. And truthfully, if I weren't already committed to my brand colors, I might consider these. Like, I don't hate them. I don't know that I like the red and the teal together, but I don't hate them. Give me a hot second and I'll kind of show you where I'm at. But anyway, it went into like use visual language like dark, moody, intimate spaces, blah blah blah, imagery. Excuse me, when it talks about the imagery, and then like the typography, it gave suggestions. I already have brand fonts that I like, but again, if I were brand new, I actually would probably lean into these brand fonts. So I like that it actually did that here. I just pulled these up. These are my brand colors right here. So it wasn't far off with the gray and the gold, and then I've got the white and the tan. So with those, I can usually create a pretty dark, moody vibe. All right. And then the vibe, think Ritz Hotel after midnight, private poker room, confidential conversation, expansive, quiet, dangerous. Feel like you're entering a space where normal rules don't apply, where power is discussed freely, where vulnerability is respected. And then it's like what to avoid. And I like that this is here because again, if I'm ever working with a freelancer and I have something like this is like my brand guide that I can just hand over to a freelancer, like download this, you know what I'm saying, into a PDF or something, and just hand to a freelancer, and they know the type of imagery, they know the typography, they know the wordage, they know all of the pillars, all of that. So it's like what to avoid: bright colors, smiling women, motivational language, you know, because that doesn't appeal. My audience isn't looking for that. Authority signals 5 status indicators. So it went through like these are things that I can work into my content, which moving forward, because I want to deepen this app and actually turn it into an app that I can use. This is something I would plug into the back end so that when it's writing content for me, that it already knows like, hey, this is, or if I stick with Perplexity, because Perplexity has Perplexity spaces. And this one I have as a copywriting space. What did I call it? The Velvet Persuasion Copy Chamber. Like I may take this here so that I can signal authority and put that into the instructions for that Perplexity space. So when it's helping me to write content, or whether I'm using Gemini, which by the way I am freaking loving, that it'll know this. Okay. And then it gave me use case 7, automation workflow. For me, the Pulse and Pause, the 4-week operating system. And I love this because it's a repeatable system. And that's really what I'm looking for 2026 is something really repeatable. But it took the fact that it's like, listen, you have big pushes where you get a lot done and then you have to retreat and rest and recalibrate. And then you come back and you do these big initiations. So it took that into consideration. It's like 4 hours of active work per week. Automation sustains the rest. Your magnetism is the scarcity lever. And I was like, wait, what? So weeks 1 and 2 are on. This is what blew me the most because this is super in alignment with my monthly reports that I get with Ampu. Usually the first 2 weeks of the month, I've got like all the big juicy energy, and the last 2 weeks of the month, they're like energetic low. You know, it'll literally say that, like energetic low. Da, 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 da. So I'm like, no, this is spot freaking on. Monday and Tuesday strategy, content recording 3 hours, and it's like deliverable. The deliverables: 1 core rant, audio or video, or video/audio, 20 to 30 minute strategic review of current funnels, like whatever I'm talking about or what's being offered in that moment. Process: record raw, no perfection, rant about the pattern that you're seeing. A rule he should break, a truth that's uncomfortable. And then it's like output file, hand to copy lead for transcription and repurposing. Well, this is where I will probably use something like make.com, or I may just, and here's what I'm thinking. My thought with this, with using make.com, is to I usually record audio in Audacity. I'll take like that MP3 file, I'll upload it into a specific Google Drive folder. Make.com, I'll have a workflow set up or an agent, whatever, where anytime something new gets added to a specific folder, meaning this audio, it will then take it, transcribe it, have the whole workflow so that it takes it, transcribes it, and then it breaks it down into multiple pieces of content from there. Right? So that way it's like, hey, you're recording 1 core rant, and then it's breaking it, and then I can get like multiple pieces. I'm thinking like 15 to 20 pieces of content out of there. Wednesday content day, what content drops plus outreach 2 hours, deliverables, post to LinkedIn, send email list, launch, launch the Dripify sequence because it was like, hey, you should be reaching out to 50 people per day on LinkedIn. So again, all of this, LinkedIn, post to LinkedIn, send to email lists, like these are all things that I can automate. Again, once it breaks down that content, my plan is to have it go back to either a spreadsheet, the content itself, to go to separate spreadsheets, or even just go to a Google Doc and where I can read through it, make any tweaks so that it's super unique to me and in alignment with me. And then I can move it to another folder or do something that marks it approved to where make.com, it'll trigger make.com again to go post these things, send out the emails. Cause I can, make.com, you can use it with like your email client. I wonder, does make.com integrate with Go High Level? I think it does. Not that you have to do that. But in my mind, I'm like, how can I be as efficient and hands off as possible? Because again, sometimes I get caught up in those bottlenecks. You got to be able to spell, Sherita. Oh, what am I doing? HIGH. Yeah, Go High Level. So if that were something you were interested in, I don't know. If that's something you even want to do. I just was curious. Okay. And then, so it's got the content drops Thursday, Friday, high ticket calls, which I like this. Like it's because it talks about, and it pulls it back from this revenue math. So it says, do 3 to 4 sales conversions, 2 application reviews, basically close 1 to 2 deals between Thursday and Friday. So if I'm really only doing 3 to 4 calls between 2 days, like that's completely doable. And it does create a nice level of quote unquote scarcity within my calendar. Cause when they go to book the call or I'm booking them, I'm only booking for these days. And these are my better sales days anyway, cause my energy starts ramping up towards the end of the week. And then it's like, so that's like, that would be like weeks 1 and 2, and then weeks 3 and 4, it's got Monday metrics, like only 1 hour. You're going to just, check in with your KPIs. You're going to, do a little this, little that. Because again, everything else is automated. Content's going out, blah, blah, blah. Tuesday through Friday, it's like 0 activation. Your job, rest, integrate, prepare for the next pulse. I'll still probably be checking on things, obviously, but this is like a very realistic workflow. But for the output that I can automate through some of the other platforms, I can still stay active. And then, like I said, I'll still be running LinkedIn Sales Nav, but I'll use the Perplexity browser to do all the initial stuff. And I can just click connect or, and I can do that from my phone. You know what I mean? Because I just introduced it from the phone. Yeah. That way I don't want to spend any extra money. I'm spending a lot of money on stuff right now. So that's my other thing. I'm trying to scale it all back. Okay. And then the repurposing cascade, 1 rant equals 10 assets. I think I can actually get more out of this. And it broke it down, into the types of assets, the written assets, the evergreen assets, the short form assets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that if I were, for example, to run the breakdown through probably Gemini, truthfully, I like the way that Gemini's been writing. I've been just playing with a little bit of it, but also because Gemini has Nano Banana Pro. If I end up doing a paid Gemini, but I guess I can still use Nano Banana through Perplexity. Either way, I would have it create, what am I trying to say? Like carousels, even for LinkedIn and for Instagram. Because I like those images. So I think it could probably create some, and as long as I had a really clean, clear prompt, gave it my brand colors exactly, just detailed it out. I think it'd be really good to go. And those things are automated. The other thing that I found is like, once I get those things automated, my content, if I just have it in a spreadsheet, I can go to, cause I use Zoho, I can go to Zoho Social, just upload the bulk spreadsheet and have it just, and that'll automatically schedule it out from there. So multiple pieces of content. I think I can probably get more like 20 or 25 out of this. Okay. And then it's like make.com automation, transcription, draft pipeline. So I like that it gave a pipeline. And again, I just told it I wanted to use make.com. I didn't tell it specifically what. So now that I have a better idea, when I come back and I recreate this, I'm going to go even deeper. And then it gave use case 8 content calendar. So I like this. And again, it's just a basic content calendar. It talks about week 1, the diagnosis, the call out, et cetera, et cetera. Week 2, tease the solution. Week 3, challenges masculinity. That works for me. Week 4, the velvet rope close. So it's like a continuous, that's something like a content calendar I can continually cycle through. And again, if I'm automating all of this, it will know what week it is. You know, I'll set up the automation so that it knows what week it is, so that it knows what type of content to create. And I love this because for me, this is like moving them through the customer journey. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then it gave like a headline generator, 10 clickbait titles for high IQ men. And then it, you know, just kind of gave a breakdown from there. So I thought that was really cool. None of this here is really interactive, but, the prompt didn't tell it to be. So then I came over to AI Studio and I did prompt it to be interactive. I got something really similar. And well, I won't go through this one in as much detail, but it looks really good. So what I actually think I want to do is I want to somehow turn this into an actual, I don't know, and this is kind of where I think I have a few questions for you, because I know you did this with Ampu's group in terms of creating the app, but I'm trying to figure out, like, I guess I would take the code and maybe go place the code. Oh, wait. Like in a website? Let me not be clicking around. I don't know what I'm clicking on. And go take it and put it in a website. Because I want this to be something interactive that I can actually come and like, this runs in the background, or this is like my main interface, and all my other systems, maybe through make.com, it's like updating my CRM and blah, 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 blah. Right. So this one, it is a little bit more interactive because I did shift the prompt a little bit. I think I told it at the very end, please make an interactive app. So for example, it's like whales hunted. If I'm assuming if I close 2 deals, then this is what it'd look like. Because again, it still has that target goal of 600,000. And in my lounge, which would be like my course platform, but I'm calling it a lounge. This is how many people I'd need. I don't know. I have to figure this out a little bit. You can see how it's like, it's scaling up there. And then it talks about the manifestor protocol. And this, again, it all pulled from the prompt. And then it has the launch protocol, why this is non-negotiable. And I love that it called it protocol 48. That's absolutely what I'm going to call it. Because again, it's like, hey, you're going to get caught up in, in tweaking and you're not going to get it done. So once it's ready, you have 48 hours to launch it. And I like that idea of just sticking to that rule. And then it talks about the rhythm strategy, the diagnosis, the seduction, the provocation, and the invitation, which this to me, I feel like, yeah, that 4-week cycle. And then it's like a weekly pulse. Oops. So Monday do this, Tuesday do that. I guess because, well, Wednesday. Maybe because I created it on Tuesday yesterday. That's why it's highlighted. And then the repurposing cascade. So again, I want to somehow turn this into something I can just like, this is my main interface for life. And then the pulse engine. This I haven't been able to do anything with. Oh God. Let me pretend like I can type. Because I was thinking, like it says, input the rant topic. So a rant topic for me would be like, desire isn't a distraction. It's direction. Yeah, I swear I can type. So when I click, like it's not, oh shit, it never did that before. Okay, I don't know what it's doing, if it's doing anything right now. Then it's like generate killer headlines. So, Oh my God, it never did that before. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Okay, so here's a newsletter. Social drips. Oh my goodness gracious. Velvet email. I am so in love. Okay. So I imagine if I tighten this up, I can give it like a specific amount of care or words to focus on, like the different types of discipline is a cage for men who have already won. Your unreasonable desires aren't distractions. They're the keys to your empire you haven't built yet. Boredom at the $10 million plus level is strategic failure. It means you've optimized your life so much that you've suffocated. That made you a predator in the first place. Oh, okay. I don't mind these. I would juicy them up a little bit with the language. I don't mind them. Yeah, something like this. And in my ideal world, it would automatically, like, I don't know if it would come through Make, but it would automatically export to, like I said, to a doc so that make.com can grab it and do what it needs to do. But I like that it actually did this. Generate killer headlines. Generate. I swear to you, I've tried this so many times and it didn't actually do that. Okay, headlines. Arbitrage the masses. What? Oh, holy shit. Okay, hold on. Oh, I guess it's still generating. Okay. Evolutionary exploits the dark logic of seductive psychology. Oh, now that's a Sherita title if I ever saw one. Power is objective. The Machiavellian math of true leverage. That just sounds fun. And I feel like I could, if I turn this into a like a newsletter or something like that, a blog post, I could seed it with it through SEO. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Classified patterns, the data layers they don't want you to see. The boredom trap, why your IQ is in existential tax. The arbitrage of incompetence, why the mediocre are winning. Oh, I don't hate it. I swear to you, this never worked before. Okay, because I played with it a lot yesterday. Okay, screw it. It works now. And then the strategic codex, the Scorpio stare, same thing from Perplexity. Weapons grade intimacy, luxury as spirit. The matriarchal correction. The Trojan horse angles. Okay, I like that. I like how I like the titles it gave this. And then the Velvet Lounge. Okay, I don't know if that one's working right now. But anyway, it created something that I think is like a really great start for just saying, hey, here's a video, and create this what's it called? Prompt for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back over here to Gemini and I'm going to hone it in even more and see what I can get and take it both to both Perplexity and Google AI Studios. But I'm thinking of sticking with this one primarily because I like the idea that I can maybe just grab the code. And I'm wondering, like in my mind, I'm thinking, can I just go embed that? Oops, excuse me, this y'all. Take this code and just embed it into like a web page on the back end somewhere. I don't know if I can host it here. I don't know. I have questions. Like where do I host this so that I can actually turn it into like a fully functioning app. And then, like I said, I want it to go over to make.com and trigger. I want it to all just be auto freaking matic. Okay. So anyway, any thoughts, any ideas? I swear to you, I was going to try and keep this at 10 minutes, but I'm super excited about it. What I am going to do is I guess I can share. I just saw this. So I'm going to share this with you. And yeah, I'm still very much learning this. Super beginner, but yeah, love it. I hope this is I don't know if you I hope this is like I'm on the right track with this. If you have any ideas or suggestions, and also anything that you come across, like please share, because I am learning from you right now. And yeah, in the meantime, here is to a great rest of the week. And yeah, talk soon. Take care. Bye. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. Bye.